you upload it, they will come.
Hey, what's up guys? Your boy Rodney383 on Anime Real Talk TV, here to review episode 7 of Game of Thrones. Now, as you can see, I am alone again. Things happen, life happens. However, the show must go on, so without further ado, let's get started. But before we do start, I'd like to thank you guys for holding down the comments and helping us out. We did misinterpret a couple of plot points that were major in the story, and I thank you guys for correcting us in the comments. So, good stuff. So, let's get started. Now, I'm going to start with Jon and Ygritte. Now, I love the chemistry they have. I just love every dialogue that they have. Everything is so playfully sexual, but I do like the reactions that Jon gives her and just her energy in general. Now, seeing as though they're getting closer and closer to the wall, he has decisions to make, you know what I'm saying? Because he's anticipating having to kill people that are of the Night's Watch and stuff like that, and he doesn't seem entirely, his mind isn't made up entirely. He doesn't even think that they can do it. So I'm questioning his loyalty to the wildlings, like as a clan, but I'm not questioning his loyalty to Ygritte, because you can see they got something there, you know what I'm saying? Random dude, Jon Snow, comes over the wall, gets captured, and then this chick is falling in love with him. Like, that's some dynamic stuff. So I just like their interaction. Now, the guy that cut them loose on the ledge, that was very interesting, because as I predicted, I'm like, you ain't just gonna cut me loose and I'm just gonna let it rock. Like, you know, I had to say something to you at least. So when he says something to him, it's interesting, because clearly he shows that he likes Ygritte. Okay, well, where the fuck was you at before my man Jon got there and was knee deep in that? So, you know, it is what it is. Now, but he did say something that was interesting, is that you'll never keep her, because she understands what has to be done and you don't. You know what I'm saying? It just goes back to that whole thing of, well, you're from this side and I'm from this side. But they seem to be bridging that pretty good. And in the back of Jon's mind, I think he kind of knows that they have differences. But we'll see when it comes down to the clutch exactly what Jon is willing to do for her. I don't know, but despite her knowing that Jon doesn't have his mind made up completely, she still like supports him, is like on his side and was like, you are mine, I'm yours, blah blah blah. So I'm like, that's very interesting, because it seems like she may want a little bit of that, you know, that good life also. She want to, you know, do something different than what's beyond the wall as well, so they can bridge that gap and like meet each other halfway. I really thought that just the interaction was great. So just the overall scene was awesome. As we move on to Robb, now he's late going to see Walder Frey. Now it's troubling, because the mother, Catelyn, she keeps reminding him on multiple occasions that this man has a temper, this, that, and the other. You know, he's gonna see it as disrespect, and it's making it seem like, okay, this dude is gonna do something to Robb when he get there, or it's gonna be some repercussions. So I'm curious to know exactly what's going on, but the fact that Cat keeps telling him this, you know, over and over, you know, because he's hard-headed, it's a little troubling. So we'll see what happens when he gets to him. But, you know, despite bringing the demands that Walder Frey asked for previous, in addition to that, like, you're gonna be late and disrespecting me even more, Robb. Like, okay. In addition, his girl is pregnant. You know, she got that prego. So I don't know. It seems like he's scot-free. He married another chick. He stayed to his obligations and married the Frey girl. But after doing that, he has no repercussions except, you know, I mean, he's dealing with some stuff with his army, you know, a lot of his army moving off and stuff like that. So he's dealing with some things. But as relationship-wise, it seemed like he getting off scot-free. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's what it seemed like now. Who knows what's going to happen when they, you know, meet up with Walder Frey and see what he says. But, you know, I'm anticipating some bullshit, you know? Yeah. Now, let's move on to Marjorie and Sansa, because I really like their conversation as well. And I will say that Marjorie, she is just the diplomatic powerhouse. She was rooting for my boy Tyrion. She was basically, she knows how to talk and show all of the good qualities, turn a negative into a positive, and she really looks at home in that role. You know what I'm saying? She really knows what she's doing, and the confidence, her energy when she walks around, it's just, she's so comfortable in that position, and she's doing a good job, you know, with the people and stuff like that. And I just really like that character. But as it goes to Sansa, essentially, I like Sansa in this season more than other seasons because now she's finally admitting her mistakes. She's finally admitting that, you know, she was stupid to believe certain things and whatnot. And, you know, I give her a little props for that. It's a little bit too late, but however, you know, I can sympathize with her situation a little more. You know, so, you know, I don't dislike her as much as I have in other seasons. I'll say that. Furthermore, you had Marjorie trying to, you know, just convincing her that Tyrion isn't such a bad guy. And to my knowledge, now from backstory that people have told me and stuff, people like Tywin has tried to get Tyrion married off before. Nobody wants to marry a dwarf. It's just that this perfect situation comes up when basically Sansa got to do it. You know what I'm saying? Or suffer the consequences, whatever the case. So, you know, that's why, you know, he finds himself knee deep in whores, like, repeatedly. So, you know, so that's just a little thing there. But it also showed how people think of dwarves in general, because Sansa verbally, outwardly said what a lot of people think. But this has been going on for the whole series. But you can see that just being in the house of King's Landing, seeing Tyrion off and on, you know, whether it be at dinner, wherever, it hasn't really had an effect on her liking him anymore. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's very interesting. Now, let's move on to Bronn and Tyrion. And they're having their little talk. You know what I'm saying? They're talking about the Sansa thing. And, you know, it's a very entertaining conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because they look at stuff a lot differently than we do now. You know, pedophilia and whatnot. The thing that really kind of gets me a little bit is how Shay is being, like, unreasonable, it seems. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you know the situation and you know the circumstances that you came to King's Landing on, and how aren't you understanding the duty side of it? I think she's being a little selfish to the situation that Tyrion's in. It's like a no-brainer. It's something that he pretty much has to do, you know? And is Tyrion smart enough to get out of it some kind of way, but still have a mutual outcome that his father will appreciate? He probably is smart enough, but right now it's seeming like it, you know, it has to go on. And the way it's like Tyrion and Sansa, like, they know it's just a ruse, or just a, you know, you know, he ain't gonna be knocking it down on a regular. He probably gonna knock it down once, get her pregnant, and really not gonna be dealing with her outside of that. And that's probably something like an understanding that they might have. And Shay is the main chick, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, how don't you understand this, Shay? Like, you're making me mad a little bit. I don't know, unreasonable. You know, your boy got problems, and you ain't helping. So yeah. Now let's move on to the holy shit. I was like, man, my gratification level was up to a level of satisfaction. Now, Tywin and Joffrey. Now, being the king, Joffrey can do whatever he want, call whoever he want. Calls for his grandfather Tywin. Oh man. Now, this little thing, this little scene showed who really runs King's Landing, and it made Joffrey realize or recognize that in the grand scheme of things, all he doing is sitting there. He don't know nothing about what's going on. You can't trust him with anything important. And Tywin is running this. So when your boy get up and want to poke his chest out, Tywin walked up to that man like, hey. And it wasn't even a threatening thing. It was the fact that Joffrey felt that way. just from his presence. That was non-verbally letting him know that I run this. You just sit there. You know what I'm saying? Man, a lot. You know, the subtext of we can have someone carry you. You know, I just love that scene because it really showed Joffrey how powerless he was in the grand scheme of things. You know what I'm saying? And I would add that he has a little bit of a fear, just a fear that a child growing up would have of like getting beaten from their grandparents or from their mom, whatever case. So you have a little barrier there of respect that you gonna give him just on top. But yeah, he shut that shit down. So yeah, Tywin, he goes in. Now let's move on to Dany. She needs more slaves, more and more slaves, and she's just wrecking stuff. I find it a little odd that some decisions she's just doing it, like she's just going for the gusto, like she don't care, she not asking Jorah or anything, she's just doing it. Now I can see her, she's falling into the role of queen and doing what a queen, and she's making the decisions as you would expect the queen to do. However, I think it seems like she's just doing stuff and disregarding everything they say. You know, at a certain point, she's not going to need them anymore. But I thought it was interesting. Now, I like that she's getting slaves. Now, she's getting slaves from this person that she was talking to. Okay, now, that's different because the slaves that she got from the other guy, they're trained warrior slaves, pretty much. And these are just like servant slaves. But you expect them to actually pick up arms for you in gratitude and help you out, you know what I'm saying? Which they will probably do, because I guess you need the bodies, but you also need people who, you know, fierce warriors and that, this, that, and the other. But however, how she just bum rushed dude and went in there and just laid it down. Just laid it down like this is what it is. You can either get down or lay down. That's what they call Beanie Siegel. You can either get down or lay down. So that's basically how she handled it. And having those dragons on the side helps a lot also. Is it me, or does the dragons give off more of a bird vibe, like every once in a while? It might be the feathers that are, you know, prickling off their necks, give it a little bird vibe, but I don't know. But they still look cool though, so you know, it is what it is. Also, you know, you can tell that she doesn't like seeing people suffer. When she looked at the guys kneeling there and just in servitude, she just hates to see people suffer. And in a way, she's a liberator, and in another way, she like fucking up the economy. But you know, if I was a slave, you know, you know how I was in America not too long ago, yeah, I would want somebody to set me free too. So yeah, I say, hey, go in. And you going in freeing slaves with dragons? You're not even going in with the pen and pencil, fucking Abraham Lincoln. You just going in with dragons, and if you ain't down with the plan, you getting scorched straight up. So yeah, I respect that. I respect that, Dany. I do. Now let's move on to Arya. Now she's mad about them giving up Gendry. Now I don't know. This is where the childlike qualities of not trying to understand all sides of the situations comes into play. She kind of throws a little tantrum, runs off, and gets snatched up by the Hound. Now, why was the Hound so closely shadowing their village, you know, their encampment or whatever the case? I don't know. It was like he never left, you know? I don't know. Maybe he was waiting for the opportunity to get Arya all along. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was thinking after the fact. But we'll see what goes on with that, because in the little episode preview, he seemed to be taking her somewhere. So, but Gendry, they show Gendry, and Melisandre is telling him about his heritage, about he's the son of Robert Baratheon. You know what I'm saying? The bastard. And it's interesting because I'm like, well, who are you backing here? Are you backing Gendry, or are you backing Stannis? Because Stannis ain't trying to hear that, you know what I'm saying? So it seems to me that she's gonna switch sides to whoever has the bloodline. Now, Stannis has the bloodline, but technically she was following the wrong person all along. Now, I don't know if prophecy ties into this or the Lord of Light and stuff, but had it been Gendry heading the rebellion on King's Landing instead of Stannis, maybe they would have broke through, because like it's supposed to be that way because the Lord of Light said it is. I don't know. But I'm like, well, what is the point of telling him this, because they will kill him on sight, pretty much. And he doesn't even have a lust or like a wanting for the throne, you know what I'm saying? He don't have that drive and desire. He would probably be a great king, because people who don't have power all their life, they appreciate it more. But I'm unsure exactly what's going on here, so whatever. We'll see what goes on with Gendry. Now let's move on to Theon and them hoes. Man, listen, this dude is diabolical. First you torture him. Now you know his foot about to fall off, because I think that's that he got the gout or something set in, the infection starting to set in, so that thing all puffy, so he barely walking. Now he sends in some hoes. Oh man, and they prey on his weakness. However, be in the situation that you're in, you're coherent enough to understand and see, and why you took the bait, Theon, is just ridiculous. I can't even understand why he just didn't realize that it was somehow a trap or whatever. Now, through the comments of last week, I know that that's Bolton's bastard, which I didn't know previous, so it is what it is. They never said his name though, so but nonetheless, I know that information now. But man, he's just playing these games, and then at the end of it all, they're going for the jewels. Oh man, they're going for his pecker. Isn't that crazy? And the women, like, they're not even like, oh, we're just whores from the brothel that he came to come and get us to do whatever, and we're leaving. They seem to be kind of in on liking or finding pleasure in him about to get his nuts chopped off. Like, they don't seem to be squeamish about it at all. So he got them chicks on deck just for torture, pleasure and torture scenes and whatnot, just an elaborate ruse, and he got chicks on deck. I respect that. I respect that a lot. Now let's quickly move on to Bran and Jojen, and they're having like these talks about the memories and the dreams and stuff like that. And for Bran, you can imagine that it's very enlightening to, first of all, talk to somebody that's like him, and second of all, on some of the things in the dream, like he's explaining it. Some things he can't. But Osha is getting, a little pissed off, because, he's telling him so many things that could alter the course of what they do, you know what I'm saying? And Osha is basically, it's essentially everybody against Osha, and Odo just gonna do what he told to do. But she was told to get him to the wall. Now we know that the wall is filled with White Walkers running all around and shit, right? We already know this now. This is not something that they know. So realistically, if you're not following Jojen's vision, you would just keep going to the wall. But I think something's gonna happen that is gonna show Osha, okay, well, he's right. Before they get there, hopefully it won't be, nobody will die or nothing like that. But I think eventually she's gonna follow his line of reasoning, or Bran is gonna want to go there and do what he want to do, and she's gonna have to come along for that. So I really like her character though, and she's really falling into like the caregiver basically of these boys, and I really like how she went from beyond the wall to across the wall to a captive to like just a servant girl to the person that they depend on for life, pretty much. And I really like that about her character. Now let's move on to the coup d'etat of the episode, Jaime. Now this guy Jaime, even without a hand, he's pretty slick with the talking, you know what I'm saying? he's very good at manipulating people. And I really found it interesting that despite everything, Brienne has kind of mentally got him over the hurdle of his hand and stuff. So now he's pretty much back to Jamie himself without a hand. Now, also a little interesting talk with the person that was tending to his wounds, because that person is a prisoner or a captive or whatever the case, because he was experimenting on people with diseases and shit like that. Some gruesome stuff, basically, letting people die so to satisfy his little curiosities and stuff. But he's a good doctor. He just broke it down like, yeah, you gotta understand how stuff works. And I took it as, okay, well, to understand how stuff works, sometimes you got to open the motherfucker up while he's still alive. You know what I'm saying? While he's drunk from the bar. But it was interesting because Jamie was like, well, you killed a lot of people. And the guy asked him, well, how many people have you killed? He said, countless. He said, how many people have you saved? Like 500,000. Now, had I not known some of the backstory for Jamie, I wouldn't know what he was referring to. He's referring to the Mad King, because the Mad King, now, matter of fact, let me just, preview this by saying, this is what I think, knowing my limited knowledge of the books. But I believe he's referring to the Mad King, and when he killed the Mad King, because he was about to light King's Landing on fire with wildfire, pretty much. And if he hadn't killed him, it would have been, everybody would have been roasted. So I believe he's referring to that. Now, Jamie is being brought to King's Landing, but Brienne had to stay behind. Now, man, listen, they got this chick fighting a bear. Normally the titles of the episode, they are basically representations of tone or subject matter in the episode, whatever case. They actually have a bear in here fighting Brienne. Oh my god, I was like, holy shit. And I was looking like, I was looking at the size differential. I was like, man, she could probably take that motherfucker, But man, and Jamie coming back for her, it just proved that there was a certain point where they started to trust one another, you know what I'm saying? Or where they started to see one another's point of position, and they were able to understand each other more. The fact that Jamie came back for her, first of all, was unexpected, because Jamie, he only cared about himself. But in this season specifically, you start to see another side of Jamie that he ain't like that. He ain't always like that, you know what I'm saying? He might be like 75% like that, but not like that all the time. And I thought, man, it was courageous how he came back, because the dude that chopped off your hand, he in your face constantly talking shit, and if you had two hands, you'd have split this motherfucker in half. But he just took it, he just did what they say do. And him coming back for her, it just showed that they made some type of relationship connection, not no sexual shit, but just like companions or whatever the case, traveling companions or whatever. And it's not to mention that he was telling her stuff that he probably hadn't told a lot of people, so he opened up to her a little bit, so that they got some kind of thing going on. Whereas though, I think that they're going to become at least decent little traveling buddy friends or whatever the case. I don't think that they're going to have that desire to like fight each other anymore. Now it's all about getting out alive, pretty much. But that's all I got for you guys this week. Now, this is Rodney383. Holla at your boy. Tell me what you guys thought about the episode. Go ahead and, if I got anything wrong, holla at me. Tell me what's going on. As I said, things happen. DPZ will no longer be doing the reviews due to personal reasons. And with Zip, it's just a scheduling issue, work, stuff like that. And as we know, work takes precedent over the internet without exception. So this is what it is. But I'm working on getting another person in on the reviews as well, so hopefully I'll get that happening by next week. So yeah, once again, Rodney383, holla at your boy. See you guys next time. Peace.